Experts in markets always try to work out the top of the market and the bottom of the market, whether it's the stock market, the good old Bitcoin of late, and now the property market. Stay tuned. We're going to tell you where we are in the property cycle today, or where we think you are.
I always feel like we're in a spaceship now with that new with the new like pre-roll.
Why?
Like we're going to space.
Why does it feel spacey?
It just like, I think the blue bit where it like fades out. I'd love to get Luke, you know, you've seen a lot of episodes, whether you like the new pre-roll or the old one. I'm loving the new one.
Do you want to run it again? Run it again.
No, roll at the end.
Okay. Billy Bob, I'm really sorry about the Queen last night. You know, your mum had it pretty close to her heart, and you watched it all. Big event.
Yeah, I got there for the I'd say the important part. Although it was all very important, but yeah, it was a beautiful display of you know, the military and what they do, the marching band. Gotta love and love all that stuff. Yeah, so a wonderful tribute.
You know, it's everyone took a different piece away from that event. You're gonna laugh what I took away from it. The security, like that was one of the biggest, highest security events ever conducted in world history. And like, how would you secure a city, a country, an event? Like 2-3 kilometers of people standing by the side of the road and every single human behaving. I just think that's what I took away. That's what an amazing, disciplined country.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was certainly very beautiful. I really thought it was amazing how they timed it to the minute. Everything was done, spot on. Spot on. Okay, property prices. How low can you go? It's like a game of limbo.
Yeah. It's really interesting because we're seeing these signs in the market. We're seeing markers now in the market where we're talking as a team and we're going, you know what? We're seeing a lot more people attending our open houses, even on the weekend, a couple of rainy open houses, huge numbers of people coming through. We're seeing stock drop. So the availability of properties for sale dramatically dropping, getting to record lows.
Yeah.
So it's just really interesting what sort of cake that's going to make.
I've got a question for you. Is it easier to pick the top of the market? So was it easier to pick out, maybe late November last year when things were absolutely on fire, top of the market? Or is it easier to say now, I think we've hit the bottom and we're on our way back up?
Look, I think that I think the easier one for me to pick is the bottom of the market. The top of the market indicators for me, no one really mentions or measures well. It's hard to measure sentiment. When you crush someone's sentiment, you'll crush the dream, you'll crush the work, you'll crush the job, you'll crush the relationship. And I think that relationship was crushed with the Australian community, buying community, when they lost trust in the government because they just thought those rates were going to, not go up for 2 or 3 years. So when they were slapped with shock, I think people straight away recessed back and have regrouped.
Okay, so you reckon it's easier to pick the bottom of the market?
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, we've got a couple comments here. Good morning, Luke. Buy low, sell high. Lisa, good morning. Can't pick the bottom. It is really hard, isn't it? I mean, everyone wants to pick the top and pick the bottom.
Yeah.
Concord is still achieving higher prices. Wow. So yeah, this is obviously.
I saw that Tom Panos did an auction that was $3 million for a house. It's pretty astounding. One thing that has actually completely confused people is if it's a type of property that is exceptional with filling in every single box, it still does good, and you know it just performs well. And how I would put that is if you know, whether it's a unit, if it has every single aspect, it has north, it has the garage, it's a good size, great size bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms, top floor, you know, views, or a nice outlook. It's just got every tick in every box. That stuff hasn't caused much pain. And the same equally with houses. If it's a house that just goes tick, 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 tick in every box in any Northern Beaches suburb, it's done. They still do good. But if you don't have a tick in one of those boxes, 2, 3, 4 of those 10 boxes, you will be absolutely punished on price.
Yeah. And that's where the buyers are, I guess, being picky.
Yeah.
Being picky, but there's still not a huge amount of stock, which is funny. We've got another couple of comments here. Morning, Lisa. Lisa's crystal ball prediction: sellers have a sweet spot for 6 weeks before other sellers realize it's a great time to come to the market. We were having this conversation late last night in a really good little sit down with a client. Redville Street's an example. Luke's got another couple of comments here. Kellyville, top bid 2.92, owners wanted 3.2. So do you still think there's some expectations that are a little bit off par, Mark? What are you seeing?
Oh yeah, look, I think that's if that's the whole reason days on market has gone from 14 days to 3 or 4 months in most suburbs, because of resetting people's expectations. Again, I'll go back to the core. Again, it's sentiment. It's how these guys are feeling. If it seems like at the moment, people, like that last interest rate rise, people have just gutted it. They've just taken it and they've expected it. They've taken it and they've moved on from it. Whereas the first couple of rises, people were in awe. It was shock and awe. It was just, you know, like it was like getting a blow in a boxing match for people. Whereas this was cool, you know, people didn't mind. So I think it's that sentiment with days on market. People are now starting to adjust, but there's still people that haven't.
I thought it was interesting. I saw a little something on your socials. First home buyer rates, first home buyer numbers are considerably down. Where have they all gone?
Oh, look, Albert's calling.
Is Albert's not a first home buyer?
No. So what was the question?
Where are all the first home buyers gone? They've
You
kind
believe
of,
that? Well, you know, like I think when you're a first home buyer, you're quite sensitive. You're quite impressionable. You're quite emotional. I think that, you know, you've got to have some brass balls to be a first home buyer buying in a declining market, or in my opinion, very clever. You know what I mean? Like I think that's when you want to, like, you don't want to buy in a market where you just blow by blow, you're paying 10 grand more every week. You want to buy in a depleted market. So, you know, I reckon it's pretty clever for people to be getting in. Like Lisa said, I reckon there's a gap now.
But there's certainly people that are, you know, maybe going to miss that opportunity. And, you know, a huge part of that is the serviceability, people's finances changing drastically if they're not getting, you know, a purchase within the first 3 months of being approved. If they go to reapply, just be careful, because that's changing, you know, a lot. A few more comments. Lisa's got vendors who are coming on early next year that are quickly launching now. We're seeing quite a lot of that. People that are actually bringing properties forward where they can.
Yeah.
Yes,
You know what?
that's
And
numbers.
I think that people have got to remember with putting their property in the market, you can go through a discovery process that doesn't cost you 10 grand, 5
Yeah.
grand, whatever. You can put your property on the market with your agent with $0 marketing and discover where the market is. Don't sell or sell. It's up to you. The agent's willing to do that most of the time. So if you know if it doesn't sell this time, you're going to be selling it next time because you did such a great job for the client. So you don't mind investing the time.
And rate rises. Do you reckon they've, the government's gone out and done what they needed to, or do you think we've still got a bit more coming our way?
I think that the government wants to be perceived as predictable. I think I think people trust that the government are going to continue to put the rates up. So I think that they can't, out of the ordinary, do something again. So we've only got 2 more rate rise meetings this year. I think we've got October, November. Oh, we've got three, and then don't forget they're not meeting in January. The government, the Reserve Bank. So I think they're going to go a little bit more gentle, and I think they're going to watch and see a little bit more.
Okay, that's the
Luke reckons that as well, but I reckon we'll see they'll be a bit more gentle with people.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to show you was, and part of the juicy topic this morning was how low can you go? Billy, I reckon we're there. I reckon that's enough for price corrections. I think. Sorry, I should frame it up this way. I think if you've had exceptional price increases in your suburb, get ready to get punished a little bit more. And why I say that is the housing suburbs, like the housing suburbs, went up a lot, and then I think they're going to get pounded a touch more. But a lot of unit suburbs where there's lack of stock, they didn't go up as much as houses. I think the floor is now in that market. I don't think there's any room for them to go any lower, which is pretty much your first home buyer stock. I think we're there. I think we're at the low. I don't like putting my reputation on the line like this, but I do hand on my heart and feel it. And I want to give you an example of a 10-year graph of a suburb that has 9,000 units, which transacts almost twice as much as Sydney CBD. DY transacts almost twice as much as Sydney CBD. That's how it's one of the most dense unit places in Sydney. Have a look at that.
Shows the numbers. So that's 10 years, units, the price correction. So what's that top number? And then where's it corrected to? We can't see it too well.
Okay, so the top number's at just over 1.1, and it's corrected down to 950.
Yep.
Okay, now, guys, this is the most important thing I can teach everyone today. Have a look at the median value.
So was that 942?
Can you see the percentage?
Not too well. I think it says 942, but I can't make out the green percentage.
98.7.
98.7.
10 years, the suburb's gone up 98%. This is the secret to working out what the market's doing and are going to be doing over the next couple of years in your market. Okay, now what that means, DY units, as an example, have gone up double over a 10-year period.
Yes.
That's on track. That's not underperforming. That's not overperforming. Suburbs have generally over the last 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years have generally doubled every 10 years. That is a brilliant measure of where I think the market's going to go. I think we're done in DY. I think the floor has been introduced. It's got no lower to go. It may simmer for a year or two or three. It may go up a touch. But that percentage, again, I don't know if you can see that beautiful that percentage there. I don't think you can. That percentage is very, 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 very on average. Now, it's double digit. Let's go over to a housing suburb called Cromer, and let's go to houses the last 10 years. We've got a problem.
You're going to have to tell us the numbers. We can see the correction, though.
170% growth.
Big difference.
Massive. So one suburb next to DY transacts 80 houses a year. One suburb next to DY has done 170% for houses, although units have done about 98%. So to answer today's topic, I reckon there's a little bit more pain in housing that as the floor has not been introduced yet. But I think for units, the floor's now been introduced.
A couple of questions here. Will it correct to 2017 levels? We're hearing this a little bit. Funny enough, the only kind of property I've been having this conversation with is in Cremorne, so a little bit further away from the beaches. And Mark, can we get some of this RP data stuff out to maybe in a screenshot or in the comments after this?
Yeah. We'll keep an eye out on... I'll do a whole bunch of screen grabs and I'll throw it on my socials. So have a look at my Insta or have a look at LinkedIn or my Facebook. I'll chuck them all up. I'll do that with some running commentary on it. But it's pretty interesting. Any questions before we go, Billy Bob?
If you had to compare this to, I guess, prices in 2017, 18 or 19, where do you think we are?
I know where we are. That the RP data will tell you on every suburb where we are back to early 21.
21.
Mid-21.
Okay.
Not bad.
There's the answer.
There's
right.
Your answer. And I love big numbers. So RP data is reporting on every single sale in every single suburb in New South Wales. So it's big data. I like a large agent. For instance, I like Meriton data when I talk to the Meriton sales guys and hearing how many properties they're trading per weekend. They have had the busiest weekend 2 weeks ago, which took them all the way. They hadn't seen a weekend in sales like that since April. So when they talk busy weekends, they talk exchanges. They do a hell of a lot of exchanges in one weekend. That's not an emote, and they're actually starting to put prices up in some categories. So that's interesting.
There you go. Buyers are waiting. Buyers are sitting on the fence waiting. It's the wrong decision. Yeah, there's a lot of talk. I think that's the episode.
Yeah, that's the episode. And look, we're going to go into a high. These interest rates are going to bite people harder. They're going to have less money, but people have been eating cake for 2 years now. In most parts, they bought boats, jet skis, caravans, cars, properties, renovations, and now it's time to pay back, work hard, double down.
That's it. Thanks,
Billy
Mark.
Bob. Everyone, enjoy the show.
Right, here comes the outro again.
Famous. This is your outro. Go.